Welcome back to your reading with the Wise Oracle of the Light 1111. Alright, I do have the earbuds in, so just keep that in mind. If the lips don't match with the audio, it is because of these earbuds. I'm not in my usual locations. I don't have my tripod with me, so I'm having to just prop the phone there, and it's kind of muffling the microphone, so I don't want it to do that to y'all. So, and I can see from where I'm at right now that my mouth is off audio here, so let's just hope that's not the case, okay? Um, Welcome to the channel, those who are new, and those who haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to the channel. And welcome back to those who have been with the channel since the beginning of time. Okay, I just want to get right into this reading. I told you guys I'm going to start focusing on doing readings. I'm going to try to at least get a reading for you, if not every day, every 2 days, and then maybe take a break, or every 3 days. Just depends on how I feel, y'all. I don't like to bring my funky energy into the reading, okay? I like to make the reading about you. That's what this is about. So I'm not going to make it about myself. Of course, with how I feel like I'm reading mostly for Divine Feminine, I feel like we would resonate with each other an awful lot. We'd probably make great friends. Or not. Who knows? But, I just don't want to bring my own personal stuff into the reading. So if I have drama going on in my personal life, I don't like to sit down and do a reading, because then it just brings out my personal drama and that, and I don't want to do that, okay? I just want to give y'all clarity and hope, I mean, nobody can really tell you what to do. You're really just going to get advice from people, and you either listen to it or you don't. Some advice might help, and some might not help. Only you would know that. Only you know your situation. Only you would know this. Whereas other people would try to tell you about you, but you know about you. You don't need nobody telling you about you. Right, Divine Feminine? Divine Masculine? I don't notice Divine Masculine, y'all. Just masculine in general. And it's not just, like I said before, not just one energy. It's multiple energies. Obviously there's more than one person on the planet. So there's many, many masculine energies that walk around with this big-ass ego, y'all. Sorry to pot him out. And they refuse to accept the fact that they might actually have feminine energy in them. They got some men still today that will tell you their wife to go and shut up and go in the kitchen and make them a sandwich kind of thing, and believes that their wife's place should be in the kitchen. Like, what? Let's not do that. I'm not going to compare myself to a man. I'm not going to think I could go out there and lift on some heavy stuff. I would prefer the man to do that for me, so I wouldn't have to. But that should be a decision we make together. It's like when you go and you get married and you got vows. At no point are you saying, I will cook all your dinners and all of this. I mean, if this is how you're going into it with this understanding, then great. But I mean, you can't expect somebody to do something after you've gotten married, and this is obviously not something that was going on beforehand. You can't force somebody to do something just because you got married. I don't know where I'm going with this, y'all. I feel like for me, it's something to do with the masculine energy as a whole, not just one or two. It's a variety of them, y'all. I mean, there's a lot of them. Let's just go into dealing with the cards and see what we get out of the cards. I really don't know where I was going to go with that. It had to be said. Maybe somebody heard something there that I just didn't get. But I'm not shuffling my deck. I don't shuffle my deck. I don't want to bend my cards, so I will cut them. I saw that card. Let's just pretend like we didn't, okay? Because it'll probably come back out. If it really needs to be seen, it'll show its face again. But I mean, Divine Feminine has really only gotten toxic masculine energy toward them. And when I say toxic masculine energy, I mean energy that only wants to be toxic. You know what that is. He knows what that is. He does. He's sitting there dwelling in it right now, looking at his life like, what I've been doing with my entire life. Now he's ready to settle down, and maybe he did settle down, but not with you, Divine Feminine. He settled down with someone who's probably just as toxic as he is. He probably got with this person because, oh, well, she never questions me. She doesn't make me face responsibility. She lets me hang out with the boys. I can go and flirt off with other females. And she doesn't, have any problems with that. Yeah, but what? Because she's doing the same thing to you? I mean, trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. I don't know if y'all watched past readings. Not sure if it was the last one or the one before that. I was noticing what appeared to look like clocks, like this timing thing was an issue. Like maybe they felt like they were running out of time, or maybe this person might be a particular age where they feel like most of their life is over with, and what's the point in changing now kind of stuff, or I'm already old and set in my ways kind of stuff. But I mean, you're still breathing, sir. And I know I say he and sir and all of that, but most of y'all also know that the masculine energy could also be in the female. So whereas I'm saying him, sir, this could be a female holding that toxic masculine energy. You might know if this is a female holding that masculine toxic energy. I don't know, let's say if she's actually into other females. Because that's what society wants you to believe. That because a female would hold all this masculine energy, that she's clearly should have been a boy or a guy, or no, it's not what it means. Figure out what masculine and feminine energies even is. Because if you are a female and you're holding a lot of that masculine energy and you like females, being a female, you don't see where society screwed that up for you? Well, I'm not saying don't love who you want to love, but I mean, I don't think you should have to change yourself into a dude because you got this strong masculine energy and you happen to be in love with females. I don't think you should gut your body for it. I don't. You were born that way. You were born a female. There was no mistake there when you were born a female. You just happen to come out with all this masculine energy. Because maybe in a past life, you might have been a man in a past life. A really toxic kind of man. Or like a really masculine man. It's like a karma. You came into this life with that from your last life. Now you're a female. Did you learn the lesson by changing your body? No, I don't think so. But I guess that's my opinion. Trust in the wave you came in on. Like if you came in a female and then realize you're into females like that, and you have this masculine energy, you were actually born a female. Same for a guy, y'all. Like if a guy was, let's use Bruce Jenner as an example. I mean, he's obviously got some feminine energy in him. But because we believe feminine energy is female and masculine energy is male, Bruce Jenner believes that himself, so he's got that feminine energy. Why wouldn't he change himself to a female? He believes that's the case, and that's not. Masculine is not the same as being a man. A man can hold feminine energy, just like a female can. Just like a female can hold masculine energy, just like a man can. This is why you have some women out there going, because they got a lot of masculine energy, y'all. It just makes so much sense. It does. But I feel like, ooh, see, I told y'all that card was going to come back out. This is the one I just saw on the bottom of the deck. When I said, let's see what it comes back. It did. It did. Somebody's like, boing. Maybe it was what I just said. They were like, oh, wait. You may not be getting it wrong this whole time. You're not fighting temptation, Starkeeper. Cosmic ancestors seek the light by staying grounded. But what? Boing. I mean, this enlightenment card comes out an awful lot. Not this particular one, but a lot of the enlightenment cards with the enlightenment energy, like, and this is coming straight into the crown chakra. Let me not say that because that might be just an opinion. Lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything aligned that must go. Somebody's going through some deep stuff, y'all. And I think it's a lot to do with the masculine energy. I think the masculine energy was, I guess, looking at relationships in the wrong way. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all can hate on me all you want. Men, all they look for is boobs and ass. Y'all know this. Well, the bigger the boobs, the bigger the ass. Okay, that's all they think about. Sex, sex, and more sex. Y'all know this, ladies. This is all men think about. This is why women walk around with all their shit hanging out, because that's what they know attracts the man. And that's what they're doing. They understand how men are perverts. Very much so, guys. Who's this lady? Why is she calling me a pervert? Can't just have one. You have to have... I'd like to... compare it to kids in a candy store with guys. Like a kid will go into the candy store and there are things on top shelf they can't afford, but they want it really, really bad. Then there's things that they go in and they want to try, just to try it. They got to try it all. And then there are some things that they like, really like, and they keep going back for it over and over and over. This is, for me, this is how men are, like kids in a candy store, when it comes to females with men, because that's what they do. And no matter how much they want to sit there and say they're loyal and sincere, and I mean, that's all we think about in the meat suit, is pleasing this physical meat suit. And I mean, we're spiritual beings experiencing the human meat suit, but in reality we are the spiritual beings in the meat suit that comes out and goes into another life. You don't get to stay here. I mean, you might come back depending on how much karmic lessons you've learned. And I feel like the more karmic lessons you do learn, and the more you're willing to ascend that conscious awareness, gets you into a higher dimension when you die, when you exit out of the meat suit and go into your next life. you go into a higher dimension. You get reborn there. Or you're not learning lessons. Keep coming down the cycle here. You keep being reborn in this, lower dimensions. And imagine at some point, metaphorically speaking, you'd be down into the fires of hell. The further down in dimensions you get reborn in, the worse off the suffering and pain gets. But the higher up in dimensions you get reborn in, the less suffering and pain you get. The longer your lifespan, the bigger the body, the stronger you are, the more smarts you got. I mean, if you understand how the universe works out there, it's always expanding, it's always growing. And I feel like at one point, Earth was in a higher dimension. And it keeps going out, and further out. And as it's doing that, it's actually going to a lower dimension. And it keeps going to a lower dimension, and it keeps going to a lower dimension. But you, the energy, has to ascend back into it and get reborn into a higher dimension. Or you just keep getting reborn into this as it keeps going, I'd rather not. So metaphorically speaking, the higher you go up, the closer to the blue sky, white puffy cloud heaven you're going to get. And the further you descend, the further down to the fires of hell you're going to get. Metaphorically speaking, I feel like that's mostly what the Bible is. It's a bunch of metaphors, y'all. And they talk about ascension and descension. And then you got these guru people that living today will tell you you can ascend into a higher dimension. But I don't think they even understand it themselves. At what point am I going to ascend to a higher dimension? Consciously you can. But if you don't expand consciously, when you pass out of the meat suit, your spiritual being doesn't ascend. You have to learn your karmic lessons. You have to stop being attached to this and know that there's obviously infinite space out there with infinite amount of planets out there. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to not understand this. I mean, it's clear that, the Bible is metaphors. It's really just a bunch of metaphors. They talk about resurrection, all that other stuff. I mean, for me, resurrection would be when you die and your spiritual being, your energy, form, self come busting out of the meat suit. And I feel like the only reason why the human eyes ain't seeing it is because it's light spectrum, and we only got maybe 1% of our light spectrum we can even get to see, maybe 10% understanding in our own brain. It's my brain and I need it now, but that's not happening. And I feel like as we're going from one dimension to the next, to the next, to the next, we're shrinking lower and lower, losing more understanding, more sight, and we're getting more and more detached, further and further away from the connection of God. You may never ever get near God to think that you can understand God. What? Who you think you are? Oh, that's right. You believe what the scientists say. You know, we're the smartest people that's ever walked the planet. Okay. I don't know where I'm going with this, y'all. I don't know why I'm going into this. I mean, but with these enlightenments and everything like this, there could be people that are seeing things. Especially if you're in that religion. And you've been raised on it. See, my family went to church and things like that, but we didn't, have a whole lot of religion in our household and stuff like that, but there are some people that live like that. And they put their whole faith and belief in this. And for me, I feel like that's what keeps us stuck and believing what they have in the Bible and not understanding the space out there and what? It's mind-boggling to me. And that they got people that actually out there trying to understand all of that as a whole, like the entire universe, us, and this little bitty speck of dust out there in space, that we believe that we can actually get next to this and figure it out. I mean, but we're the smartest people that's ever walked the planet. That doesn't make sense to me. It's all Cocoa Puffs. I mean, if you can't get next to the sun, I would imagine whatever God might actually be, you're not going to get anywhere near that. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to the power and the brilliance. Nothing. What is your definition of nothing? Not a single thing, right? So, I mean, if you can't get close to the sun, imagine how not so close you're going to get to that without getting disintegrated. Trying to go through a wormhole or a portal without getting disintegrated. That's a whole nother video, y'all. Hey, I talk about some of that. I've got a couple of vlogs in here, y'all, in the channel. Scroll down a couple. I mean, I used to do vlogs way back in the day, and I've gotten rid of a lot of them. I was starting my channel all over, so I did delete a lot of the videos, y'all, except for my card readings. And I had recently just started doing the vlogs again, but I don't know, I almost feel like we always pull the same cards out for you. So, I don't know, I almost feel like in some sort of way that you had learned. Now, we all know how I will tell you that just because you might have learned a karmic lesson, that doesn't mean you don't have other lessons, and you gain lessons all the time. New lessons over and over. This is non-stop, never-ending kind of thing. But I feel like you've learned, and it's something about love. How you were in relationships where you might have thought, like, you were in love. And you might have realized by lifting the veil and all your enlightenments, and you may have been the one that was thinking time is running out, because you might be at a particular age where you're like, you wish you would have learned this a lot sooner. Had you learned it a lot sooner, you'd have been a lot further in it. Then, maybe you're at the age where when you were growing up, we didn't have the internet. They got kids that grew up with the internet and still did nothing with their lives. And for me, I'm thinking, if I'd have grown up with something like that in the palm of my hand, could you imagine the brilliance I would have had today? I mean, these kids around here ain't bright at all, y'all. They too busy eating Tide Pods and sniffing on bath salts, and not really getting disciplined at all. Not at all. Well, I can't beat my kid. No, but you can discipline your child. Your child's acting like a crazy psycho. That's unnecessary. Just tells us what this world is going to be like in the future. I mean, it's hopeless, y'all. If you understand what I'm understanding, you would see that this planet is doomed to fail. I'm going to ascend out of it. I don't want to be reborn in this crap anymore. I'm going to a higher dimension. I don't know about you, but I'm out of here. And that's a fact, baby. My faith is, I'm not going to doubt the power and the brilliance of what the universal creator might actually be. And I'm not going to doubt the fact that I would never understand it. How could I possibly? To think that I could possibly understand that, I would be comparing myself to the power and the brilliance of that. How is this possible? This makes no sense to me. actually think you can figure it out. Not you in particular. Don't get offended, okay? I'm just saying in general. You know, like your scientists out there trying to explore space because they think they're going to figure it out. You know, because they smart. Smart, like Donald Trump smart. Let me not start on him. Let me not. But I feel like Divine Feminine has learned a pretty valuable lesson here. This is why she's been single for as long as she's been single, but I don't think she realized in those moments. I think she just was staying single because she just got tired of the crap. But I think she realized something about a karmic lesson that she might have been in due to her heart, due to love, due to begging, chasing. I mean, you would get in a relationship with somebody, and even if they looked into the direction of someone else, and can I say it's insecurities? I mean, I guess it could be, but I mean, this is deeper than that. It's not just about being insecure, it's about how you were treated from ever since you can remember up until a particular point that you decided to stay single in every relationship you've ever had. This is how people treated you. And you would pour your heart into it. I mean, you would just give everything you had into this relationship, whatever relationship it was. But you got out of it. Look at you, coming up out of it, like ascending out of it, like lifting the veil kind of stuff. What? I mean, this is Divine Feminine doing stuff like this. If anything, this masculine needs to be taking some pointers from her because she clearly knows what she's doing. And he's looking at her at some point because I think he's getting it. I think he's looking at Divine Feminine in a different light. Like when he was looking at her in her earlier time, before all of this, he was looking at her like a gullible, naive kind of person, and in a sense you were. But it's not like you were doing anything to be vindictive. You was doing it because you loved the person, that you felt like you loved them anyway. But I think you come to realize that it wasn't ever really love. The heart is so guarded, you don't let anybody in it anymore. Not even a little bit. I mean, you might have, not all that long ago, let somebody trickle into it just a little bit, but you're not doing that at all anymore. Like, you're done. You got out the karmic lesson. You said, I'm not in that loop. I'm tired of being in this cycle over and over. And it's even when it comes to our friendship. You feel like you can't depend and trust on anybody. And I mean, I feel like this masculine is definitely looking at you, and I mean, you may have somewhat of an idea, like say like when you would have been with this masculine and then y'all split up, you might have even, knew that this person was going to regret it. They were going to get to a particular point and see, because you're not toxic. You're not in the bar rooms. You don't, this is not who you are. Can I say you didn't hang out and drink and maybe go to the clubs or the bar rooms and but it got old to you really quick. You knew it was toxic and that it wasn't getting you anywhere. So what you did, divine feminine, you picked up and you left. That's what you did, and you're doing it like that an awful lot lately. Like, it's good, okay? It's good to be detached, okay? It's good not to be so attached to things, but and I know it's hard to say because I can't say like give it a chance because you are giving it a chance. You do give it a chance. Like you would accept the phone number, and the person that gives you the phone number, you're like, but they don't really. You'll return your phone number, and it's like, now what? Because I guess this person thinks I'm gonna chase them. Like these enlightenment cards keep them up. I feel like divine feminine's getting something. She's getting something. This card wants to keep coming out, and this one's with it. Like, look, they all have the same energy, y'all. This is not just about the divine feminine, though. This is about the masculine energy. Because y'all mirror each other, and whereas there's a masculine for the divine feminine that sparked this in the divine feminine, and this had been some time ago. But now that you're doing your thing and moving as graceful as you are doing, the masculine is watching you, and you are waking this person up just by being you. You're not doing anything. You're not chasing after this person. You're not even looking back on this person, this particular masculine. You might be looking back on divine masculine, but you're not looking back on the toxic stuff. You're not. You can care less. Whereas this masculine, that's all they're thinking about is divine feminine, divine feminine, divine feminine. And I think once you guys had split up, this person ended up getting with someone else and had actually gotten married. This is why that Three of Pentacles, it was the Three of Pentacles that came up in the very last reading where I said it was the stepdad. Mm-hmm. And this masculine actually might have married this person. Now this is a non-committal type masculine toxic, bouncing around from one female to the next. If they're in a relationship, they're talking to other people behind the scenes, and they're in the relationship. When they split up, they go right back to another relationship. So one of those, they're always keeping their options open. Always keeping their options open. And you were one of those options until they realized, I messed up. They realized they messed up. They messed up, y'all, and they realized on us. Still got the crow nagging at them. Probably your wife, fool. Mm-mm-mm. This person actually married somebody being not committal. That makes no sense to me. Like, if you didn't want a committed relationship, a real relationship, why in the hell did you get married? That's not making sense to me. I mean, of all people they didn't marry, they chose not to marry you, divine feminine, and go off with someone. But it's a good thing you didn't step forward like that. Like, this person might have even asked you something along that line, and you may not have taken that seriously. You might have thought, surely they're just joking, so it obviously never really got talked about. To elope or something like that, you know? You may not have taken it seriously. They were serious, but they weren't serious about you. Now, I don't know why they would think that marrying somebody is basically a way of trapping somebody else. Makes no sense to me either, but I mean, she might be able to marry him and trap him, but I don't know why you think you can marry her and trap her. What? Don't make sense. Something's not setting. Like, something's not making sense. To be married to somebody, being non-committal, and don't have any kids with them, I don't feel like there's children there. If there is, it's not his. This person's in. They did you wrong. Embrace love. I can't even. This particular masculine. Now, my heart goes to the divine masculine. You know, the one that we were talking about in your. The one that we had been talking about, the divine masculine that is actually married and stays and stuck in his relationship because of his kids, but that he's actually got kids with her. My heart goes out to that one because he wants the same thing she wants. But he already had a whole life there. And so it kind of makes it more understandable about why he would actually stay there. Okay? This dude over here, not so much. Not so much, y'all. He's one of the ones who refuses to believe he's got feminine energy in him. Like, what you mean? Feminine energy? I'm not gonna wear a dress. Nobody asked you to put on a dress. I mean, if you want to, that's your choice. Free will, buddy. Nobody's asking you to go cut off your gonads and turn yourself into a lady. That's not what that means. Empress energy is not what that means. You can have it too, sir. Quit denying it. That moon's going on too. Did y'all see the moon tonight? I mean, it's not a full moon, but that thing is big. It's close to the Earth. You better watch out, it might run into the planet. Hey, you don't know that. Don't stop acting like y'all know. You know what's crazy to me? It's how I have what I believe is an understanding of how the universe works, and people looking at me like but they're the ones eating the body of Christ and drinking his blood and believing what the religion's telling you to believe in, and that's not crazy at all. Not them. I'm the crazy one. Good job. I just don't get it, y'all. I'm not trying to, be ugly to people that actually believe in that, because in a sense I feel bad for them too, because they don't know. They don't have a clue. We are spiritual beings. Before we ever come here, what were we doing beforehand? Floating around in daddy's nutsack? I mean, I'm confused. Where'd you come from? Your body? The person that makes all of this happen? I mean, I said the person, but I didn't mean the person. The energy that makes all of this. Had you come from somewhere? We're in the earth, but we're not of the earth, like star seeds. People who resonate with starseed, some of them will make it like they're special because, I'm a starseed and you're not. Right? We're all starseeds, every last one of us. We didn't originate from Earth. We originated from the stars, which makes us all starseeds. You're a starseed. They're a starseed. I'm a starseed. We're all starseeds. Okay? You didn't come from nothing and go back to nothing. Well, you can't get something from nothing. Well, where does God come from? You can't get something from nothing. Because it tells you that there is no beginning and there is no end. That it always was and always is and always will be. Which is kind of mind-blowing to believe that there was never nothing. There was always the something. regardless of whether you want to believe it or understand it or not, it was always something. Whatever it is. And look at this one. He's got his sights on you, baby, divine feminine. Oh. I mean, these cards are over and over. So go look at your last reading. The very last reading I just posted. I mean, not only this reading, the last reading, but the reading before that. This guy is coming to you, boo. And you're like, I can buy myself flowers. I don't want your shit. You don't. You don't want that. Yeah, I don't know if you could trust it. Because this masculine, this is not, okay, you know better. You already know how this masculine came to you with the flowers and stuff like that already, so that isn't gonna happen. You're not gonna believe nothing like that. Don't be coming at me with no flowers. What's wrong with you? He's all conflicted knowing he's toxic. He did you wrong, divine feminine. And that's what it's, the fact of the matter is, they came to you like this Prince Charming kind of flowers and sweet nothings kind of stuff, and they turned out to be this. With all that conflict, and they made you feel unworthy. This is what brought you to your understanding. Because, I mean, it seems like you were ready for this, you know? They would have been there, you would have been there, but the whole time this person was there, they really were not there. That's the point, divine feminine. And I think you realize that. Like, they came at you like this, and you had a hard time believing that they were this. You had a hard time believing that you were this. You're like, I'm not the Empress. And it's not that you're denying your feminine energy, it's the Empress energy that you're like. Because this is before your enlightenment. This is who you are now, though. Nobody can deny this on you. And because of this devil energy is looking at you, and he's still in devil energy. He literally is still in devil energy, trying to portray himself to be like this. And he may not be in your environment, but he's doing this in another environment to someone else. While he's over here looking at you, being Empress, he's pretending that he's this dude here needs to be. He really does. He's got a lot of nerve. Lots of fucking nerve. The audacity, y'all, like. And then they going around, or have gone around, playing the victim, looking at you the way they're looking at you, knowing that what they're saying about you, or have said about you, lies, lies, and more lies, just so they could get the person that they're with to believe. And I mean, I'd imagine that the person that they're with isn't a divine feminine. She's probably, I'm assuming she might be doing a lot of, I'm not going to say marijuana, because marijuana doesn't do this to people. It's like a dope vibe, like Xanax or a Valium. You know, she walks around like this, like a zombie person, like no life inside her, kind of stuff. While you're walking over here, happy-go-lucky, you got this energy about you, and everything you've been through, you still got this energy with you. And this person over here is like, Still living a lie, y'all. This person is still living a lie. There's a lot of masculine energy that just stays stuck in this toxic stuff. And then goes around and plays the victim. Like they didn't do anything. Well, I'm the nice guy. I'm the one who brings the flowers. I'm the one. What? I mean, with this stuff behind the scenes, how can you say you're the nice guy? You know who you are. Why you want to act like you this? No, damn good and well, this is who you are. I imagine this person has been reborn over and over, descending. Like, I don't even want to look at this masculine energy as an ascended master. Like someone who's obviously ascended many, many times. Because they're not. They're more about the physical flesh. They're more about, wait, what's that song? I wanna sex you up. That's basically how he is. That's all this dude is thinking about. I mean, I know they say guys think about that an awful lot, but this guy here, he might have to go into some sort of sex rehab or something, because he's got this too much, and it's so deceptive. It's disgusting. You wouldn't even be looking. The thing with the divine feminine is, even if she is to actually get into a relationship, that physical kind of stuff ain't gonna happen, not for a while. She been celibate for quite some time. She ain't looking for that. That's not what she's looking for. She's spiritual. She wants a spiritual connection. She don't want your butt. She don't want your ass. She don't want your money. She don't want your bullshit. She wants connection, like spiritual stuff. She wants to be the priority, because she's gonna do that for you. Especially once this empress is able to be her empress self, she's going to. Dude, you need to get out of here, because I don't even want to look at that fudge sickle. That's you. Divine feminine. You are so spiritual. Sometimes you're too spiritual. I think that's at one point I was trying to get to. Like, your heart is so closed off, and it's not like you don't let people trickle into it. It's just that for you, it's not a spiritual connection. You want a spiritual connection. I don't think you feel like you've ever had this your entire life. Oh no, he ain't, y'all. You know, it's one thing if he was actually gonna come. Look. Get walking away from the bullshit, y'all, materialistic crap. The lovers of this is a chariot. Because he's impulsively doing Not toward the divine feminine. You better not rush judgment this one. Because she gonna knock you back down to size, buddy. You better not try that with her. She's not the same person. Divine feminine is not the same person when she was with this masculine. She's not even close. He better come in really being sincere and enlightened. And I mean, let's say like this person is to come back toward divine feminine, and he's got a social media account like Facebook. Divine feminine's gonna tell you, you better get rid of all of that. You're gonna have to change your phone number, sir, and everything. Don't be coming at the divine feminine with any of those cords attached to you. This is not gonna work. You better cut the cords to your mama if you have to. Any kids that's going on here, you're gonna have to cut the cords. You can't come to divine feminine with all of this toxic shit. And just because it's kids, does not mean you're not bringing toxicity toward the divine feminine, because that's exactly what you're doing when you've made that baby with someone else. No, excuse me.
But what about the kids? The kids that do nothing?
And they ain't going to either. So if you're going to stay because of your kids, then that's your problem. Stop looking at the readings and looking at divine feminine like she did you something wrong because you got kids. Or you stay stuck in a bullshit marriage. That's not her fault. Especially if you had the opportunity to be with her already. Like this masculine over here clearly had the opportunity. A few times. More than once. And he did the same thing to you over and over. He kept you in a karmic loop. You stayed stuck in a cycle with this person for a minute. At least 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 or 5. You know, everyone's situation and story is different. But when you got out of that karmic loop and turned your back, this person lost they lost it, y'all. I don't think this person ever thought you would just, like, disappear like that. I don't think they did. I think they thought you'd always be there. Like, you mean while you were obviously married to somebody, prancing and dancing around me, I'm supposed to be like, I'ma wait until you figure it out. I mean, you already got married to somebody else, so
why the hell would I sit here and wait for you? That don't make sense. Divine Feminine ain't gonna do that.
Divine Feminine, she turned into the Empress. She's the High Priestess. She is Divine Feminine. She ain't gonna wait for nobody. She waited as long as she gonna wait. She gives anybody the benefit of the doubt. And she does let people trickle into her heart just a little bit, but then they prove themselves. And Divine Feminine's a person, if your words don't match your actions, then, I mean, you're doing an awful lot of talking for somebody that ain't got nothing to say. Your actions don't even come close to your words. I mean, you throwing flowers toward me, but, I mean, when you bring me flowers, are they even alive at this point? Because you sure are taking your sweet ass time getting your shit together, sir. This person is, I mean, they could be married all they want, but they're not in love with her, they're in love with you. And they have been since day one. Like, the minute this person put their eyes on you, they knew it. The connection between the two of y'all when y'all were together, the way you treated this person, wasn't like anything they've ever had. And in some sense, it kind of like, it might have scared them. So they sabotaged themselves because of it. Because they knew that being with you, after whatever happened to them back in their earlier years, they might have had a pretty bad heartbreak, y'all, which is why they turned into the douchebag they turned into. And they probably never had that love for anyone else until you, and now they're sabotaging it because they get reminded of what happened, but you would have never done whatever that was, because that's not who you are, Divine Feminine. You're not going to do that to somebody, whatever it is. You're not toxic. You don't do that to people. You don't retaliate. You don't cheat. You're loyal. You're honest. You're a hard worker. And even on, days where you might not feel so good, you walk out the door looking like a freaking $1,000,000. Nobody would ever know. You could be homeless living in a cardboard box. Nobody would ever know. You could be homeless living in your car. Nobody would ever know. You could be homeless living in your storage. Nobody would ever know. Because you don't carry stuff like that with you. Or for the world to say. You keep an energy, a positive, happy-go-lucky energy. And that's what's manifesting you in the direction you're headed into. It may not be what you think it should be in this moment, but I mean, the way you keep doing this, I mean, by the time this masculine over here gets his shit together, you're gonna be so far ahead of them that they're never gonna be able to catch up with you. Their enlightenment has just happened, and yours has been happening for a few years now, and you're at the point where you're really looking at it like you're never gonna look at it like that again. You're already way over here, and I mean, you're so more advanced than this. I feel like at some point, when the two of y'all might have actually had this connection together, they felt being with you, they felt more in control of you in the relationship. Now they're like, well, wait, I thought I had control here. I thought I had her right where I wanted, and you're like, and you're out. You didn't look bad. You didn't chase after him. You might have chased after him, obviously, before.
We just continue to get the same cards over and over, y'all. Your Three of Pentacles and the King of Wands.
Player douchebag vibes. Especially if he's with this toxic stuff. That's the step there. Remember, we had this in your last reading. Now, we always get the readings are for Divine Feminine, but she's got a lot of masculine energy, some divine masculine. But this divine masculine energy, and I'm not saying this one over here, not because I'm not really sure about that one. I mean, we're all divine. Coming into this, we're all divine. But at some point, we turn into, like this guy, because life smacked him upside the head and he turned into the devil toxic stuff. But this one over here is not. This one over here wants to be divine. That's what he wants. He went into his life being a divine masculine. He got married and had babies, or made a baby and then got married, because he wanted to be doing it. He was doing the right thing in his mind the whole time. Whereas this masculine over here, this toxic one, he already knew what he was. He knew he was toxic. He didn't try to be the nice guy here. He didn't. He pretended to be. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Whereas this divine masculine over here, he tries. He tries to do the right thing. He tries, and it's still not good enough for the lady he's with. Because she's toxic, and all she wants to do is be toxic and worry about materialistic crap. But that's how this masculine is over here. He's toxic and only worried about materialistic crap. He's worried about how big the boobs are, how big the ass is, how big can my house be, are you going to make enough money to take care of me, while he's over there giving you breadcrumbs. Talk about a contradiction. Tower. We've got a lot of strong enlightenments going on right now, y'all, and I can't say it's just a masculine energy. It's probably some feminine energy doing this as well. And I feel like a lot of the ones that are, for Divine Feminine, looking at Divine Feminine, this is the reason why they're getting their enlightenments. Because of her. All the hate and stuff that these energies were given to Divine Feminine when she was going through what she was going through, and they're looking at her like she's crazy. But now they're starting to go through it. Other people might be even starting to look at them like they're going crazy. But now they're looking at her like,
feel like they because divine feminine is more advanced in this than they are. Because they're trying to come to the divine feminine for like answers, so they'll watch behind the scenes, kind of stalk stuff, and they're curious about what divine feminine is actually doing with life and how does she get through this. And divine feminine's like, if you posted anything on your social media, you don't post anything that tells people exactly what you've been doing and what you've been going through. It's nobody's business. They didn't care for you beforehand. Why should it matter now? You was trying to help people get this understanding then, and they're looking at you like you're crazy. The moon is really sticking out too, y'all. There's a lot of moon. Moon, moon, the moon, the moon, the moon, the moon. Poor baby. It hurts. It hurts my heart. I mean, some people, for the divine feminine is strong. She handles some stuff. I mean, she's been doing this since birth. And you got to an enlightenment, and through dark nights of the soul, you didn't turn to some things. Did you do things? Yes, but that was in the time of your enlightenment. Once all of this happened, you didn't go, it made you walk away from that. That's what your enlightenment did. It got you off whatever you might have been doing. Let's say if you were drunk, you had this enlightenment, you quit drinking. Let's say if you did other drugs, you had this enlightenment, the drug stopped. Let's say if you were a female that goes from one guy to the next guy to the next guy to the next guy because you're just a dirty whore. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you that, but you were being that at the time, and you know this is why you've had your enlightenment, and you walked away from it. You're not being a dirty whore anymore, but you used to be until you got this enlightenment. Then you walked away from it. That's what happens with the divine feminine. When she gets it, she ain't gonna stay stuck in it. She gonna get up and walk away. Sometimes it's not easy to just do it like that. Sometimes you gotta work your way into it, kind of wing yourself into it. And that's what divine feminine would do. She's not gonna sit around staying stuck in that. She might stay in that loop a couple times. About a second, third, and then definitely the fourth. She's out of there. She's staying in that loop. Not this divine feminine. It don't take her that many times to get, knocked upside the head before she realizes where she's going with it. That's what the divine feminine would do. She ascends herself. She don't need your help. You need her help. Alright, I think I'm gonna close this video out, y'all, because I don't know if it's it could be my energy because I'm looking at this the way I'm looking at it. I mean, if this man's the masculine is as toxic as I feel like he might be, it's gonna make me feel some type of way trying to do this reading, y'all. I mean, this person's all over the place. And it's hard for me to say that I don't want to compare the two, like the divine masculine to this toxic masculine, because it's not the same, y'all. This divine masculine he's not toxic, but because he's in this stuck karmic, and whether he's married and got kids with her, yes, she's a karmic. Yes, she is. Because he's not happy. He already knows he's stuck in this. Because he knows he's divine. He gets it. He already knows. He wants to do things to make whoever he's with is his wife, the baby mama. He wants to make her happy. He's been divine this entire time, and that's what he's married to her. He's got kids with her, so he wants her to be happy. This is what he's been trying to do, and she's just not happy. Just not at all. You know, she's got to have excuses to spend money, and you know they could be struggling. And if he don't get her hair day or pedicure, then oh God, he'll never hear the end of it. This guy over here, you see, and the reading's over an hour, y'all. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on with this reading, but I mean, we're gonna have to save it for another. There's a lot of major arcanas, y'all. Like so many. If I'm not mistaken, I've done seen every single one of them, and this is the whole deck right here, y'all. We ain't pulled out that many cards to be seeing all these major arcanas. This is real deep stuff, y'all. And it's just hard for me to say if it's this masculine or that one, or if they both are doing this at the same time, and I feel like that might be the case, y'all. For a lot of masculine energy. Especially if they are knowing that they're divine and gets it. And that's all they want. They want the same in return. And they're not going to get it from there. As it's hard for me to say because he is married and he's got actual kids with her. Now whether they're all his, might be one of them that might not be his. Whether he knows this or not. But I feel like he's just having a harder time because of religion and society and the fact that, you know, maybe this is a person that did go to church an awful lot, you know, and now he's looking at religion in a different way, and he's afraid to turn his back on that because he's afraid of denying. I guess, I don't know, y'all. I don't know why anybody would be it, because it tells you that you should not doubt. And if you, the fact that it tells you that you should not doubt, well, first off, I want to know what we should not be doubting. Well, we shouldn't be doubting Jesus, that had died on the cross for our sins, or are we supposed to not doubt the power and the brilliance of God? And I think if you accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, you have doubted the power and the brilliance of God. Because I believe that the Jesus right guy could be the right guy with the pitchfork, y'all. I do. I think this is a very good possibility. I'm not saying that the Bible is true. I'm not saying there's facts there. But if you don't understand the power and the brilliance of God, then you would believe that Jesus would be anything but the right guy with the pitchfork. Why can't he be the devil? Because he was born sinless? Why can't he be the devil and being born sinless? You understand anything about the pluck? God said to Adam, don't touch the tree. Well, you're not supposed to be here. We didn't get permission. Remember? God said don't touch the tree. But he did it. Now he's multiplied. Not thanks to God. The devil did that. The devil come in and deceived Adam the pluck so he can multiply, creating a portal to get you down to the fires of hell. That was the devil's plan. It's to get you to multiply. No? Did God tell Adam it was okay to pluck the fruit? Mm-mm. The devil got him to do it. To create a portal so you would go down to the fire's fellowship. If you're not coming in before the pluck, and then Adam does the pluck and starts multiplying. But the pluck came from the devil. Then they read it in the devil to be fruitful and multiply. So it's a bit contradicting. I'm supposed to believe that the devil is getting away with some things. And in order for us to be forgiven from God, we have to accept Jesus as our personal Lord and Savior. Because God is clearly unable to forgive us unless this happens. It made God sound like a weak, mediocre creator. God's too powerful and brilliant for this, y'all. Too smart. God created, according to the Bible, God created Adam and told him not to touch the tree. So why would he give him a woman? Why is God looking upon the earth and sees that Adam's lonely in the first place? I would think lonely is a part of suffering. Mental suffering. Which should not be happening if Adam didn't pluck the fruit yet. But apparently he is, because God's looking upon the earth and sees that Adam's lonely, kicking rocks down there, I guess. So he puts Adam to sleep out of nowhere, cuts his rib, cuts him open, takes out a rib. That's not mediocre creator right there. God's just been talking to Adam the entire time, hadn't he? And he's going to tell Adam, watch this trick. You look like, why you kicking rocks down there? Adam, you looking a little lonely down there. Watch this trick. This is how I created you. Dirt of the earth, woman. The power and the brilliance of God created Adam from the dirt of the earth. Man. Why is he not creating the woman like this? Hey, he's been talking to God, Adam, the whole time. Adam's not going to be confused when God says, hey, Adam, you're looking a little lonely down there. Watch this trick. This is how I created you. Dirt of the earth. Woman. God's using obvious words out there, so we can just say woman, and it makes her a woman, and that's how we still a part of Adam. I'm confused on why Adam's got to go to sleep and get a rib. Take what? You mean God's coming inside the planet, cutting Adam open with some surgical tools here? Me not know. Maybe you should drop your comments and enlighten me. Let's get this party started, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. It's long enough. I love you guys. Especially you, Divine Feminine. You know what I'm talking about, baby. You know. No need to say anything else. Peace, love, and light. What? Namaste.